Good morning,
Good morning.
and welcome to our series, Interviews with Disciples and Devotees. We are honored again today to have with us Dr. Pachegaonkar. Namaste. Dr. Pachegaonkar has written a widely appreciated article on water and how it applies to us. And so I've asked him today if he would speak to us about this because, as you all know, thousands of people watch these videos on our website, motherandshriaurobindo.in, and on the YouTube site, Richard Eggenberger. So without further ado, please enlighten us about the importance of water in our lives.
See, first of all, the major component of our body itself is water component. And for free circulation and all the systems to work in order, the hydration is very important. Especially in tropical climate as well as in cold climate. Because in cold climate also the humidity is very low. And here in India, especially because of heat, the evaporation is very fast. And therefore, the requirement of fluid is very much. In the form of drinking plain water or in the form of some juices or along with the food, cooked food, we consumed water. We consume it. Whereas through the process of urination, excretion, along with stools and some portion in respiration and some part with perspiration. So these are the actually outlets for water. So water component is very important. It should be adequate. Then one should know how much to drink. One must know when to drink and how to drink.
Good. So you'll cover all those topics.
Yes.
Good. And does body weight, is body weight a factor?
No.
Okay.
Body weight alone is not the factor because
No, a factor.
Yes, one of the factors. But more than that, like sweating is not in proportion to the body weight. The loss of water component through respiration also doesn't depend upon body weight. Because like in Pondicherry, we have humidity to the extent of 70 to 80%. So maybe we are not losing much water component through respiration here because humidity is much. But in dry climate, we lose large amount of water through even respiration. So similarly, there are so many factors. Even there are some internal factors where if kidneys are getting much load of excretion, some object or some byproduct in our system which is unwanted in the body, and if that has to be excreted through urine, then the kidneys have to flush it off, and there also you require more water. So the requirement would vary depending upon so many factors, like what work the person is doing. For a simple example, like if you are in air conditioned environment, in air conditioned environment the humidity also is controlled, so it is relatively dry environment there, so you require little more water if you are in AC. So some people feel that if they are in air conditioned and
just
cooler,
the opposite.
Yes, but they require little more because of their respiration. The loss is more. Even the perspiration also, like we are in coastal area, here we perspire the same. Only thing is the sweat doesn't get dried up easily, and therefore we feel that we are sweating more. Actually, in air conditioned, we don't sweat because it gets dried up much easily. So therefore, you need to drink little more water there.
When to take water and how to take it?
Yes. When to take is very important question. Actually, when we drink water on empty stomach, the emptying time is very short. almost nil for water. It emptying time in the sense like whenever we eat anything in the form of food or eatable, the food has to get churned in stomach for a while. It is reflexly the pyloric end shuts off, and the food is nicely churned in the stomach. So hydrochloric acid is mixed, the saliva, digestive juices are mixed. It is churned thoroughly for like moderate meal. One would need to churn for 1.5 to 2 hours, and then the contents are allowed to empty. So that time taken for commencement of emptying is called as emptying time. But when we are drinking plain water on empty stomach, the emptying time is almost nil. The stomach senses that there is nothing to be digested in that, so it allows it to pass further.
That's a good thing?
Yes, in a way it's good thing because within short time you are hydrated. Within short time, like we give intravenous fluids when person is dehydrated, but intravenous fluids are directly pumped into venous system. So there it gives load to the heart for pumping because it directly goes in blood. The blood is diluted in one part of the body. So the intravenous drips are to be given slowly. So if you want to give like 1 liter of fluid, maybe sometimes it takes more than few hours to give 1 liter. But whereas on empty stomach, 1 liter fluid can be disseminated in body within 10 minutes.
Okay.
That much convenient is there. Only one problem is there sometimes, that as in stomach, if the water also is getting churned with the food, by mixing it with hydrochloric acid, the disinfectant action takes place. So if water is contaminated or having some infection, and if you take it after food or with food, then it has a chance that it gets churned up with the acid and it is nullified, it is sterilized.
This is very interesting because
But
I know
if
so many people who say don't drink anything when you eat.
no, not that, right? That is a different logic.
Okay.
What I'm telling, in case of infected water, this holds true that if you drink with food or after food, it is harmless. But if water is infected, contaminated, or not pure, then when you drink on empty stomach, it just passes further. And then the infections are not sterilized, and you are likely to get infection. So only when you are not sure of drinking water, then you eat something and then drink. But there you have to eat moderate, so that it doesn't take long time, because this churning also takes place depending upon the type of food. Suppose we eat something fat like puris and all, the fat food sometimes takes 4 hours to empty. So if you are like not sure of the quality of water, best way we suggest is you just pour water from one pot to the other in open sun, so ultraviolet rays purify it to the most extent, and have little food like 10% of what should be your quota, and then take it.
Is it true that water in certain types of kujas gets purified?
Oh yes. In kujas it gets purified, but it's a different concept. In kuja there are earthen filters in one compartment, and those earthen filters filter water drop by drop in the other compartment, and that is purified water. It is filtered water. So kuja, the typical water filter, the locally made or homemade filters are like this. That one kuja compartment filters water in the other compartment, and that is purified water. But otherwise, kuja is earthen pot. Rather, in India, we don't advise fresh like cold water on empty stomach, especially when it is hot, because that contrast. What happens when we drink water and it enters our stomach? Ideally, it should be of our body temperature, and because emptying time is very like quick for plain water, if it is cold, that passes further into intestines in a cooler temperature, and that creates contrast and problems. So if it is body temperature water, you can go ahead with it. But if it is fridge cold or even cold in any sense, then one should drink it very slowly so that by the time it reaches your stomach, it is coming to the body temperature.
So now you're going to tell us about how and when to drink.
Yeah, the best way we suggest is in India, like depending upon what work you are doing, it would vary little bit. But on an average, we suggest everyone to drink water on empty stomach. So as soon as the person wakes up, within first hour he should consume at least 1 liter of water for this type of weather. And then one can have breakfast or whatever wants to eat. This is like mandatory for everyone. Another spell of drinking water would be pre-lunch. So we advise person to drink water at least 1 liter. One should start drinking 1 hour before the food and finish drinking half an hour before the food. So in the span of 30 minutes, one should consume 1 liter water again on an average. But one need not drink 1 liter in one go, but like every 5 minutes, quarter liter should be fine. So you can make it in 20-25 minutes, one can easily consume 1 liter water. But one should finish consuming water half an hour before taking food. Same is the case with dinner also. That 1 hour before dinner, one should ideally start drinking water and finish 1 liter in half an hour. So that half an hour earlier you have finished your quota. And these three spells if you have, then depending upon the weather, depending upon your lifestyle on that day, you can add. So some people would find that they never feel thirsty if they drink like this. Proactively, if one is drinking water, one need not feel thirsty at all. But when you are thirsty and if you have eaten something, then even if your body needs water, you will not get it because stomach is churning. So any amount of water you go on adding, that will be again added to the churning material. And once the churning is over, then the body will get it. So some people say that don't drink water while eating or immediately after eating is for this reason. That even if you feel thirsty and you drink, it is fruitless. It just adds weight or burden to the churning. Body will not get it. So best way is to start drinking when the emptying starts. Emptying of stomach starts. That time if you add water, it goes well along with it and immediately body gets it.
Now you say emptying of the stomach. Through urine or through...
Oh, no. Emptying of stomach means...
What does it mean?
See, as I told you earlier, when we eat our food, it has to churn in stomach for 1.5 hours.
Right.
And once the churning is enough, then the stomach starts emptying it. That emptying.
Okay.
So water component is absorbed mainly in the small intestines and large intestines, not in the stomach. So once it starts passing further, that is what we call emptying.
Okay.
Emptying that. And once it is disseminated, depending upon the flushing of kidneys, the water component is flushed off. Kidneys have tremendous capacity. Like if you ask me like how much water one can drink or one needs to drink, so that need, as I told, would vary depending upon the lifestyle of the person, the weather, conditions and all. But if need be, body can definitely consume water up to even 12 to 15 liters a day if it is needed. If it is needed, body can consume it. And kidneys can take that load, and rather it can flush off all the toxins. There are many toxins which are excreted through urine.
Does it help to flush the kidneys by taking more water?
Yes, actually kidneys need to be flushed often, otherwise nowadays we are getting so many cases of renal calculi. They are because kidney is not being flushed properly or regularly. And therefore so many incidences of renal calculi are coming. So if one drinks water like this, so thrice a day there is flushing. It helps. There is another phenomenon. Some people get frequent urination at night, and therefore they feel that if they drink more water, that urination frequency is because they are drinking more water. But that is misunderstanding actually. What happens when one drinks less water? The urine output is very scanty, and scanty urine means more concentrated urine, and that causes irritation in the bladder, and that bladder irritation doesn't allow person to hold enough urine in it. So the capacity of bladder is reduced, and because of that irritability one goes on getting frequent urination. So quantity wise, on an average, bladder has capacity of 400 to 450 ml of water in one go. But sometimes even with 150 ml or 100 ml it is irritated and one needs to pass urine. So they feel that because they are drinking more water they are getting urination, so they try to drink less and they add further problem. So now we have done this therapy, like we hydrate them for 1 or 2 months, like 1.5 liter towards evening before dinner. We flush them before they go to bed, and slowly in months time the irritability of the bladder also is resolved, and then person hardly gets up. Like once the person passes urine like 400 ml before going to bed, the whole night one need not get more than 400 ml till the person wakes up. So this is as simple as that. So we have demonstrated this even in elderly males.
So, juices, milk, water, all liquids.
Yes, but juice is fine. So long as it is juices, it is fine. It's liquid and it's easy to digest, and emptying time also is very quick.
Okay.
So if we actually advise juices more than plain water, because some people, the taste of the water may not, be relished properly by the person, especially children.
True.
We advise them to take some form of juice.
But what about the
But
heavy sugar content
That
in juice?
sugar we don't advise. No. I think you added sugar, or you mean the innate sweetness in the
these
fruits?
drinks that you get.
It shouldn't matter.
Are
It shouldn't
full of
matter.
sugar.
It shouldn't matter.
Sure.
No. The drinks, pure fruit juices
pure
are
fruit
better.
Juice. Okay.
Not the added sugar.
Very good. Okay.
Fruit juices are wonderful. Yeah. Rather, what we advise is on empty stomach, especially, we advise something citrus, either lemon juice or orange juice. There are two reasons. Like, first of all, on empty stomach, if one takes citrus thing, the stomach cells are very sensitive on empty stomach. So, the vagus through which our central system actually monitors the acid secretion in the stomach, that gets stimulated, and if we take something citrus on empty stomach like vegetable acid, like lemon juice or orange juice, the impulse in the central system is given that the stomach contents are acidic, and therefore the acid secretion is inhibited. So person with hyperacidity, we advise that you drink something citrus on empty stomach. So for whole day the acid secretion is inhibited. Another advantage is vitamin C. If person has enough vitamin C quota, that vitamin C helps in building immunity. So against all these viral things or influenza or swine flu, we advise drink ample of lemon juice or orange juice.
Without sweetening.
Yeah. In general, sweetening is not needed. The innate taste of lemon or sweet lemon or oranges, it's wonderful. So why should one go on adding sweets or jaggery or sugar? It's not necessary.
Okay. Good.
But that really helps. Only problem is that juice, if you drink, juice should be fresh. We don't advocate the bottled or preserved juices. That we don't recommend.
That was my question. Yeah.
We recommend always something fresh.
Freshly squeezed juice.
Or we suggest that you drink water and eat fruits. Your juicer is in your mouth. Nature has given juicer, so that also is fine.
What about lassi?
Lassi, actually typical lassi means buttermilk, we consider.
Water and curd.
Curd. So actually the best lassi would be where the curd is rinsed thoroughly, the stirred thoroughly, and the butter is removed. And once the butter is removed, what remains is buttermilk. That is ideal. That is ideal because it gives like coagulated protein. And like we were just discussing that what about milk? Milk also contains a lot of water. Almost like 86% is water component in it. But milk is most difficult thing to digest.
Is there any difference in the what we say blue packet and green packet?
In that, only difference is that the fat is removed in some.
That's good or not?
In a way, it's good because.
In a way, it's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
For sedentary people, for children, their fat doesn't matter. But for grown-up people, adults, especially with sedentary job, fat-free milk is always better.
Good.
But even then, even milk proteins are most difficult to digest. The most difficult, of course, it's a whole food. Whole food, but most difficult to digest.
Okay.
Therefore, we don't recommend milk as a hydration. As a fluid, we don't recommend milk because it is heavier for digestion, unlike juices. Juices are easiest to digest.
I still have a little problem understanding if I squeeze 2 or 3 lemons, I take it like that or mix it with water?
Of course, mixed with water.
Mix with water. Okay,
Yeah,
now I understand.
we do recommend that therapy, but that's a different context actually.
Okay.
When someone has a peptic ulcer, like duodenal ulcer, in them we ask them to drink pure lemon juice as a starter.
Ah,
So that gives immense acidic feeling in the stomach, which inhibits further acid secretion for the day. But in general, it should be diluted.
good.
So 1 lemon in like half liter of water would be moderate, like moderate size lemon would be
okay.
better. But that we recommend only as a starter in the morning, not every time you drink water. Because it's logistically also it is easier, but whole day you can't go on having lemon juice every time.
Okay. Anything else to add?
See, like I would add, like we have some clinical cases where I would like to mention.
Sure.
See, like suppose there is someone who has stinking sweat. We have treated some cases where the main remedy is drinking adequate water. Because if person is sweating, if there is enough scope for sweating, then there would be no concentrated sweat or anything. So if person is drinking enough water, the person sweats freely, and that should not necessarily should give any stinking. But if person is not drinking enough water, or there are like person has diarrhea or some other reasons for dehydration, then the sweat is more concentrated and then that gives stinking. So we advise this. Even the same thing for urine also. There are some people whose urine is having horrible odor.
Yes.
So there also we recommend that you just have like hydration properly done, and then that strong odored urine is not there.
This you mentioned in your article. Yes. Both
That
of
was
these.
one
Yes.
interesting,
Very interesting
phenomena.
Yes.
That actually, in fact, the person who was cleaning the bathrooms in that school, he came to us for depression.
Yes.
And then we asked, what is the reason of depression? He told, I am sincerely cleaning the toilets, and these people are always blaming me, you are not cleaning. Finally, he told the in charge manager, principal of the school, that you come and inspect when I'm cleaning for at least 1 week and then check. And they did it, and even then the stinking was there in the toilets of children. And then they referred to architect. Then they put exhaust, and that exhaust was, emitting so much odor in the whole colony. And then they thought that maybe the design of the toilet is faulty and all that. And then somehow I suggested that maybe this is the reason that children are coming to the school early morning, they are not drinking enough water, and their urine itself, and it is harmful to them also, children also.
Sure.
It's not necessarily the odor.
Sure.
Then we suggested that parents should be counseled to give ample of fluid in the morning before the child comes to school, and then during the recess children eat their snacks. So just half an hour before the recess, the teacher used to declare in class, now drink enough water from your water bottles. And children started drinking. And after 1 week, the problem went off.
1 week.
Just 1 week. So interesting that
Yeah,
case
very,
is.
very much. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
But then there are some cases where, we get dry scabs in the nostril, that bleeding from nose. Then we get some cases where they have regards, the deep cracks in the feet.
Yes.
Then some people get, cracks in the lips
Yeah.
and dry skin. We just ask them to hydrate it properly.
Basically, it's a problem of hydration.
Yes,
Not enough
yes,
hydration.
Yes. People, they are fond of ice cold water. Now the problem with the ice cold water is because they are thirsty, they drink water, and that quenches the thirst. But body doesn't get the fluid because thirst is quenched, so person won't be able to drink enough water. So therefore we advise them, if you are fond of drinking water, cold water or chilled water, take adequate quota of normal temperature water and then supplement it as a terminal part, then no problem. So children like fond of ice creams and all, we suggest them to eat ice creams only after food. But before that, no chilled water, no freeze cold water. This is what we suggest.
Good. Thank you so much.
Welcome.